Hello everyone, welcome to today's discussion. The Election Commission's SIR has triggered unexpected controversy not only in Tamil Nadu but across the entire country. In Bihar, the issue has already triggered major political debate over its irregularities in the process. In Tamil Nadu, all the parties have come together in an all party meeting to strongly oppose any amendments to the voter list procedure. So now we have with us Mr. Mathur Satya, a social activist and a state committee member of ISCUF. The voter list revision process usually happens regularly, right? Then why is there so much opposition this time?
So we need to understand what happens regularly and how different it is from the usual revision. What happens usually is special summary revision, not special intensive revision. Special summary revision is the periodical thing which adds the new voters who just cross 18 years of age and removing voters who passed away or who migrated out of the country and all sorts of things. But this special intensive revision comes with the problem statement that it is going to uh, fully revamp the electoral roll with the idea that several lakhs in a state or several crores in a country or infiltrators. So, special intensive revision is completely different from what has been happening regularly from 1951 in the name of special summary revision. Summary revision is basically you give some form to update your name or remove your name from one constituency to the other. For example, you might have migrated from Madurai to Chennai. So you would give a form to remove your name from Madurai and add it in Chennai. This is what happens in special summary revision. But this is the special intensive revision is an upside down exercise which asks every citizen who has voting rights to prove their voting right again. See, the voting right is implicit with your citizenship. We have no obligation under the constitution given rights to keep proving that we are the citizens of this nation. We have voting rights, and people who have voted like 10 times in the last 70 odd years since independence need to prove it again. This is not a normal thing, and this is something that is very evasive, very invasive into every sort of rights that we have. The state cannot be expected to, or cannot be, given the authority to stop anyone in the road and ask them to prove their citizenship, ask them to prove their credentials, ask them to prove their parents' birth in the country. Because in a country like India, which is a very document deficit country, we haven't moved to paper. While most of the nations, developed nations like the US or UK, have migrated from paper to digital form. But we in India, uh, not even half the people have birth certificates. While looking at this special intensive revision from that background of socio-economic fabric, one cannot stay quiet about how atrocious this is going to be on the voting rights of the marginalized and the working class people, because you can't expect a wage labor to forego a couple of days from their jobs and spend on getting their voting rights back for no reason, just for the propaganda of the ruling party. Worker needs to get out his work, give up one day of his salary, go fill this form up, wait entire day in the queue. Then even after that, if they lose their voting rights, they need to go through another set of tedious process. You just think of the impact it has on their livelihood, it has on the impact of generally how they look at their rights in a democracy. They're equal citizens, as equal as Amit Shah is. You can't treat Amit Shah like a god and these people as some sort of slaves, right? So this is why we create so much noise about this special intensive revision, and we have seen how pathetic it was in Bihar, because the claim was that it is going to remove duplicate voters, it is going to remove infiltrators and all that. But what happened is, even after the SAR was done, people are able to find nearly 3.5 lakh voters who have duplicate votes in multiple constituencies. So this is not special intensive revision. This is going to be special intensive deletion. So this deletion is why we are opposed to this.
Are opposition parties trying to politicize the voter list revision process?
Yes, They are trying to politicize, and rightly so. If this cannot be politicized, what needs to be politicized? If you see, BJP has been politicizing each and every word that the opposition says, even make up claims about their party's manifesto. Congress party's manifesto never said we are going to take away the gold chains or necklaces or Mangal Sutra from the Hindu woman and give it to the Muslim woman. Modi ji was able to parrot this claim for 180 times in the campaign trail of 2024 general elections. When BJP can politicize such a vile, non-existent, divisive, communal claim, opposition has all the right to politicize an issue that is going to impact crores of voters, especially the marginalized
Mm,
section of the general population, because the marginalized section would not have the privilege to fight back against this sort of oppression. If you take the voting rights of Adani, it might not cost him even a single second in his life. His legal team will take care of it. But what will happen for a corporation worker if their voting rights are taken away? They are already protesting for their basic rights like minimum wages, permanent job security, and stuff. You can't expect them to fight for voting rights as well. So this is putting burden on millions of people who are already burdened by increased GST, who are already burdened by
mm,
inflation, who are burdened by unemployment, who are burdened by all the environmental destruction, who are burdened by dispossession from their land because of all the projects that BJP has been bringing, taking the lands away from farmers, tribals, Dalits. So this is the right thing to politicize, and our criticism against the opposition party is that they are not politicizing this enough. They are treating this as only an electoral politics issue. But this goes beyond electoral
mm,
politics. This goes beyond the basic essence of democracy of giving equal voting rights to everyone. This is why Baba Saheb, in his first speech after the Constituent Assembly, when they presented the Constitution, his first speech said, "We have achieved political democracy, which treats one vote for one citizen, which means each citizen is equal because all citizens have equal votes." So when you throw fire at it, it is not just an electoral issue. It is questioning the very base of what this country is built on. So this needs to be politicized, and this needs to be politicized beyond electoral politics. Is what
mm.
we have been advocating.
Home Minister Amit Shah says that this process helped identify foreign nationals and infiltrators. Isn't that a good thing?
Now let's take this claim at the face value and say this is a good thing. Suppose there are crores of infiltrators in India who have been holding voters ID card. What does it say about the legitimacy of the current union government? If there are millions of infiltrators within the borders, then it means only because of their vote, BJP came to power. Then it means it is an illegitimate government. So if you say there are scores of infiltrators within the border, then you need to dissolve your government first and announce a fresh set of elections after special intensive revision. Will you allow that? You won't. Let's put it aside. Let's just say it happened after 2024. That is, the Modi government won just purely because of the Indian blood, and many infiltrators got into the country after 2024 elections. What does it tell about you as a union minister? It is your job as a union minister to stop infiltrators from entering India, which means before special intensive revision, you need to present it to the parliament, you need to present it to the Indian public how these infiltrators got in, what were the lapses in your intelligence and security before even demanding SIR or SAT or SSR, whatever abbreviations you have. Then it is a blatant. I mean, Amit Shah is taking people for granted that he openly admits that he has failed from Pahalgam to everywhere. When you keep saying infiltrators, when you keep saying illegal migration is happening, whose fault is it? Who has the army? Who has the border security force? Who has the research analysis thing? Whose control dictates what they do on day-to-day basis in this country? It is Amit Shah himself. So to say infiltrators have come, so we need voters verification. What sort of a thing it is? I mean, let's say 26/11 happened when Congress was in power. Okay. Shivraj Patil resigned from his job because bunch of terrorists infiltrated the borders. A home minister resigned because he took responsibility for it. Will Amit
Mhm.
Shah resign? We will accept for SAT. Will Amit Shah resign for failure of his duty? Or if such a thing happens, Parliament was attacked when Vajpayee was in power. Uh, Look at this. BJP keeps telling about infiltration and all that. The Parliament was attacked under their rule. When Parliament was attacked, what the people asked was for more security, for more intelligence, not a revision of voters in Delhi. That is not the solution to infiltrators, right? If
Mhm.
there are infiltrators, voting is not the problem. If there are infiltrators, you have much bigger problems. If there are infiltrators for real, which means if there are infiltrators, this BJP government will have gone wild. They would have entered every building, every house looking for those infiltrators. If that is not happening, just imagine going to another country and telling there are so many infiltrators. You have a lot of problems. You have big danger, and there are threats in every corner of your country. And that person asks, "What should I do to save my country?" And you tell them, "Oh, revise your voting list." This is an utterly funny solution for an infiltrator problem. So, which means there is no infiltrator problem. It is only Amit Shah who is making up this claim to rob lakhs of people in each state, crores of people all over the country of their voting rights, so that these people cannot vote against BJP, so that these people can be made second class citizens in the coming CAA, NRC exercise. These people can be made target for any sort of oppression and marginalization in the coming years.
If someone doesn't have the documents requested by the election commission, will their voting rights be taken away?
Uh, we don't need to speculate on whether this would happen or not because the election commission CEO openly said last week that whoever does not fill the form, whoever fails to satisfy the criteria will be removed immediately. And you have statements from CPI, CPM, VCK, DMK, all these parties slamming this statement because election commission's job is to conduct elections in a free and fair manner, not to rob people of their voting rights. This is not some HOD sitting in a private college saying if you don't submit the assignment on time, I'll mess up your internal marks.
Mhm.
This sort of attitude is not to be expected from election commission. First of all, raise doubts about the validity of someone's voting rights. That is not the
Mhm.
prerogative of the election commission. See, if election commission says their voters list is not proof enough for someone's voting right, then why did you issue it in the first place? And if
Mhm.
it can be duplicated, if Aadhaar can be duplicated, what does it say about all the things that you praise Aadhaar for? You said Aadhaar is the most secure system. And you immediately saw some 25 lakh Aadhaar cards being sold on Telegram, including the Aadhaar cards of Kanimuri, Karthik Chidambaram. I mean, lots of politicians' Aadhaar details were being sold. And we were forced to give our biometric fingerprint and all that. These are very, very sensitive information that is being leaked. What does it say about Aadhaar authority and voter card authority if the ECA says you have to submit documents beyond these two things that we made mandatory for everyone? If Aadhaar is not proof for citizenship, if voters ID is not proof for voters' rights, then why do you have these things in the first place? The
Mhm.
very name says Aadhaar. Aadhaar for what? In Tamil, we say Aadharam. If you say Aadharam, Aadharam for what? If it is for nothing. Aadharam is only Aadharam for you having an Aadhaar card, nothing
Mhm.
else. So, this removal of names, see, the general procedure that is dictated by law is you are not supposed to remove a name if they don't satisfy the criteria. What you are supposed to do is you have to give them 30 days of time to resubmit any sort of document that you demand from them. Even after the 30 days, you are not supposed to remove if you find it unsatisfactory.
Mhm.
The election commission is supposed to give the citizen an audience with a concerned officer to explain their case. Only if that has happened and the explanation given by the person is not satisfactory according to the norms dictated by the law, the election commission officer, is supposed to give it in writing why and how this person is removed from the electoral roll. So there is a clear guidance for due process when it comes to the case of removing a person from electoral roll, because removing people from electoral roll is not a simple thing. Like I said, it decides the basis of this nation. From
Mm.
90, India was not a truly independent India even after 1947. Only after the constitution gave each of us voting rights, only after 1949, November 26. In fact, only after January 26 of 1950, India became an independent nation because its constitution bestowed the power on the people to decide the government for themselves. Until then, until January 26, 1950, India wasn't a free country.
Mhm.
Although symbolically we achieved independence on August 15th of 1947, this was the case. People who know why Constitution was written know this truth. Because only the Constitution gives you we the people of India. It wasn't a dominion state of India under the British Crown. It wasn't a vassal state of British Crown. It was an independent India because of the Constitution, which gave us voting rights. When that is the basis of this nation, you can't just simply remove some person because they failed to provide an application form on time. This is atrocious. Election Commission cannot do this. There are several Supreme Court judgments which say this. So if it goes against this, then we have to take it up with the Supreme Court in the coming weeks or months.
Is there a chance that people from other states can get included as voters in Tamil Nadu?
So this question is not a pure procedural question. There is a procedural part to it, and there is a political part to it. There is a moral part to it. The procedural part is how long is long enough? If a person from Madhya Pradesh or Bihar comes to Tamil Nadu, do you make them a voter within 6 months? Or do you make them a voter after so long? And what is the procedure to ensure that they have removed their voters card from the origin state and are seeking new voters card in the new state? What is the procedure to ensure they removed it first before seeking voters ID card here? That is, these are procedural questions. Because if you see, there is an interesting interview by a channel called Aransai with a Bihari young man who came here when he was 12 as a tea seller and who got English education, who got bachelor's and master's in English literature, is now working as a teacher in government school in Tamil Nadu. This person, without a doubt, is a voter in Tamil Nadu. He's no more a Bihar person. He might have come from Bihar, but he's a Tamil Nadu person. So we need to give him voting rights in Tamil Nadu.
Mhm.
So these are procedural questions as to who gets the voting rights, who does not get the voting rights. Beyond this procedural question, there is a moral question. The people from North India, migrant laborers, do not come here to rob us, do not come here to exploit us. They come here because they were exploited in their home state.
Home state.
They are not, yeah, they are not provided education. They are not provided livelihood. They were deprived in all the aspects of life, so they seek a better life. So it is not
Mhm.
morally right for us to say, you go back, you are not welcome here. That is not a stance that a democratic, uh, a populace with the conscience do. Correct? So you have to welcome them because this is the only way out they can see in their life. That is one part of it. But the other part of it is, if you keep welcoming them, it is an incentive for the corrupt, the pathetic politicians in the north who keep thinking they don't need to work on infrastructure, they don't need to work on social welfare, they don't need to work on all the social justice parameters in the north because they can let people go out and then find jobs in other states. He'll keep encouraging these politicians to do whatever they have been doing for the last 50 or 60 years because they have not built anything in Bihar. They have not built anything in Madhya Pradesh. So if you keep accepting these migrant laborers, it is going to continue, and these people, these politicians, are going to rob these people more in the coming years because they are getting more funds from the center. So that is one thing. The last thing is politically, although we need to welcome the migrant laborers with open arms, we need to give them equal rights as a Tamil person. We need to treat them as our own citizens. In fact, we need to treat them better because they come with a set of uh, uh, deprivation from there. So we need to correct that so that they are treated equal in the society and all that. But at the same time, our resources, our capabilities are limited. They are finite. If, say, for example, in Perambur, I built a hospital. I mean, I'm the government. I'm the Tamil Nadu government. I built a hospital in Perambur. I take into account some 10,000 families that are going to benefit from the hospital there. I cannot expect how many people from Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, and Rajasthan are going to migrate. If I build a hospital for 10,000 people and suddenly there are 20,000 more immigrants here, migrant laborers, the hospital cannot take the load. It is going to overflow. The doctors and nurses are going to be overworked. So my resources are finite. I also need to think of that. So the question whether a person outside of Tamil Nadu can get voter rights in Tamil Nadu is not just an electoral question. It's not just a procedural question. There is a moral angle to it. There's a political angle to it. There's a social angle to it. And most of all, there is an economical angle to it because each extra citizen puts in pressure on the budget of Tamil Nadu state. So we need to think of all that before deciding on this question. This question is not going to be settled because of special intensive revision or any other election commission exercises. Election commission exercise is just to make BJP win, not for any solving any of these questions.
Thank you, Mr. Mathur Satya. It was very informative and thank you for joining with us today.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Stay tuned with Fireline Media for more updates. Thank you.